Welcome to Day 9's devotional titled, The Exchange of the Innocent. Now, if you haven't seen the other 8 devotional videos, you can do so by going to our Accelerate Church YouTube channel. If you also want to read through the devotions, you can also find it on the Accelerate Church website, acceleratechurch.com. Now, I'm going to hand this over to Yana, who's going to start us off with some scripture.
Hi there, my name is Jana. Today I'm going to be reading a few scriptures in the Bible. The first one is Matthew 27:20-30, which says, "But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. 'Which of the two do you want me to release to you?' asked the governor. 'Barabbas,' they answered. 'What shall I do then with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?' Pilate asked. They all answered, 'Crucify him.' 'Why? What crime has he committed?' asked Pilate. But they all shouted all the louder, 'Crucify him.'" Our next verse is from Isaiah 53, verse 5, which says, "But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we were healed."
The sun hadn't even risen yet, and the world had already turned against its creator. After the agony in the garden, Jesus was dragged through a series of illegal, middle-of-the-night trials. He was slapped, spat upon, and mocked by the very people he came to save. Now, by daybreak, he stood before the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Now, Pilate was a man used to power, but in the presence of Jesus, he was unsettled. He knew Jesus was innocent. He tried to find a way out, so he used a Passover custom. He would release one prisoner to the crowd. He gave them a choice that should have been easy. In one corner, he stood Barabbas. His name literally means son of the Father. But he was a murderer, a thief, and a violent rebel. He was a man who truly deserved the cross. Now, in the other corner stood Jesus, the true Son of the Father, who had done nothing but heal, love, and speak the truth. Now, Pilate asked a question that echoes throughout history. Which of the two do you want me to release to you? The air was filled with a terrifying roar. The same people who had waved palm branches days earlier were now clenching their fists. Guided by the religious leaders, the crowd screamed, "Barabbas! Barabbas!" When Pilate asked what to do with Jesus, the chant became a deafening rhythm. "Crucify him! Crucify him!" This is the great exchange. Barabbas, the guilty man, had his chains taken off and was set free, not because he was good, but because an innocent man took his place. Barabbas is the first person in history to be able to say, "Jesus died for me," and literally meant it. But here is the truth we must sit with today. We are all Barabbas. We are the ones with the guilty chains. We are the ones who deserved the judgment. Yet Jesus stood in total silence as the crowd screamed for his blood, because he knew for you to be set free, he had to stay bound. He accepted the guilty verdict so that you could receive the innocent one. A few years ago, I was given a Bluetooth speaker for free. It wasn't something cheap. It actually costed a lot and had real value. I didn't earn it or pay for it, yet it was placed in my hands as a gift. But what makes it meaningful isn't just that it was free, it's how it's now being used. That speaker is used to play worship music, scripture readings, and devotional plans in the park, at events, at work, and at home. Something that cost me nothing is now being used in a way that carries purpose and impact. In the same way, the freedom we've been given through Jesus came at no cost to us, but it came at the highest cost to him. And just like that speaker, what we've been given still holds immense value. The question is, are we just receiving it, or are we using what we've been given to bring life, truth, and worship into the spaces around us?